Hello friends, my name is Julie.
And I'm Daryl.
Welcome to our farm.
Today we're going to take you on a tour.
Julie and a good friend founded Red-tailed Farm in 2015. During the first few years, they began the process of restoring the land and establishing the farm. They started with a few laying chickens and a couple of pigs. Red-tailed Farm is a 14-acre diverse livestock farm operating in southeastern North Carolina. We have 6 acres of pasture and the remainder is wooded. We utilize regenerative agriculture practices. This includes rotational grazing of ruminants and targeted fertilization with birds. This provides the nutrients the soil needs to grow healthy forage. This forage is utilized by our animals to produce healthy, high-quality meat, eggs, and milk. We currently produce eggs, pork, lamb, goat, chicken, duck, and turkey. We sell our products direct to consumers at our local farmers markets.
The first animals we ever had on this farm were laying hens. We run about 100 chickens in 2 mobile coops. This is our own design, and Daryl will talk about that.
So we used to run our chickens free-ranged or in Premier One poultry nets, but we had a major predator problem. So we decided to go to these sealed open bottom tractors that we drag along the ground. They've done really well for us. They've protected our chickens. We've only lost a few since we went to this.
Pasture-raised eggs have been the core of our business. They're a big draw at farmers markets, which is our main business. Our hens are fed a non-GMO, soy-free diet, and they have lots of access to pasture as we move them twice a day.
The other benefit to our coops is that they're open bottom, and it allows us to target where their manure is put.
This allows us to more evenly fertilize our pastures and reduces any parasite load these chickens might be exposed to. We like a variety of breeds. Mainly our hens are red stars or red sex-linked. They're great layers and good foragers. I also really like Americanas for the blue and green eggs. And then I have a variety of other breeds such as Well Summer, Barred Rock. They're all great. Having a variety of breeds really gives our egg cartons a beautiful look with all the various shades of brown plus the blue and green eggs from the Americanas. Because these chickens have access to so much grass year-round, it makes their yolks a really beautiful deep orange, and that makes our customers happy. About half our property is wooded, and we utilize that mainly for pigs. We produce a forest-raised pork. It gives our pork a very unique taste quality. It also is just a really fun environment for pigs to grow up in. We've raised a variety of breeds on this farm. Our favorite is the Hereford, a heritage breed, but unfortunately we can't get those right now. So in the last year or two, we've switched to American guinea hogs primarily, and they've done fantastic in this environment. They really thrive in the woods. They're much gentler on the land. They don't root quite as deeply or make such a big impact on the forest. We do try to move our pigs about every 3 months to a new large paddock. These are anywhere from 1 to 3 acres. We have gotten into breeding in the last year with the guinea hogs, and as you can see, we have a lot of piglets right now. This situation out here in the woods has worked really well for raising piglets. The mothers generally farrow around the same time. They cycle around the same time. So that's allowed them to co-mother. So we will see many piglets nursing off of multiple mothers, which is great. Then we know everybody's being well taken care of. There's not a large competition for nipples like there would be if you only had one mother and a large litter. We feed these guys a non-GMO soy-free feed. We also supplement with spent brewer's grain that we collect from local breweries. And we feed them a fair amount of produce and food that would go to waste if it didn't go to pigs. This is generally stuff that grocery stores are donating to homeless shelters, and it's either expired or no good for human consumption anymore. But our pigs can turn it into bacon. Pigs are really curious by nature and really fun to interact with. The guinea hog is a smaller and fattier breed, but they've done so well in this environment, raising their piglets with very little help. We do provide some straw when it's wet. We've made some makeshift shelters, mainly out of pallets and scrap lumber, but that's really all they need. The mothers are great at making their own nests. They're great at nursing their own babies and making sure that they're sheltered when they need to be. So we really like this colony raising design that we've come up with here.
So we use 2 strands of polywire and T-post with insulators to fence off the area that we put our pigs in. We use a solar charger. It's a 2-joule solar charger that energizes the fence. And this is all you really need to keep pigs in.
Pigs were the second animal we brought on this farm, and for very good reason. Pork has been our best-selling product by revenue. It's super popular in this part of the country. It's also really delicious and very versatile, so it allows us to have a wide range of products available to our customers. Pigs are also great recyclers. If you make a mistake, if my goat sticks her foot in the milk bucket while I'm milking, if I forget about leftovers in the fridge, the pigs make use of it. It all gets recycled by the pigs. We originally added goats to the farm just as some brush control on the edges of our forest, but the herd has grown a lot since then.
We started off with 2 goats, and now we have 35 goats, I think.
We raise goats both for meat and milk. Our meat goats are mostly boar with some Kiko genetics, and then our dairy goats are mostly Nubian. We have a couple of Oberhaslis as well. We do cross the dairy and the meat breeds, and you get guys like this. We rotationally graze our herd of goats, moving them every 2 to 3 days. We try to keep them to wooded areas. They also have access to grass most of the time. We also provide them with a loose mineral and occasionally some grain. Our milking does are on a dairy ration and some treats, of course, while I milk them. This guy is Dash. He's our favorite baby this year. He is a Nubian boar cross, which is sort of the breed that we are going with right now. We like having the dairy and we like having the meat, and the crosses seem to come out just really cute.
As Julie was saying, we use the goats for controlling our carnivorous forest here in southeastern North Carolina. They really help push back all the vines, the poison ivy. They keep some of the invasive species like privet under control for us.
This is definitely an experimental enterprise on the farm, but one that's really fun, so we enjoy them quite a bit. Each fall we raise a batch of turkeys for Thanksgiving. These guys are almost 2 weeks old now. Quick update, everybody's doing really great. If you haven't watched the last video on the day they arrived, go ahead and do that. Typically we like to raise both heritage and commercial breeds. This year we're just raising the broad-breasted white. They'll stay in a small brooder for about the first 2 weeks, and then they'll be upgraded to a larger brooder for maybe another week or two until they get some adult feathers, and then they'll go right out on pasture. We'll keep them in tractors. We'll pull them to fresh grass twice a day. They'll follow our flock of sheep and goats and help us fertilize our pastures a little bit better. And then come Thanksgiving time, we'll process them right here on farm and we deliver them to our customers fresh. Turkeys are actually one of my favorite animals to raise. Among all the birds, I think they're the most social, they have the most personality. They're just really fun to watch grow, and we only get to do it once a year, so it's pretty special. So I'm gonna let this guy go back with his friends. He's not too happy about being out here. But yeah, we'll keep you guys updated. I plan to do a series of videos on how we raise the turkeys out on pasture, and it'll be fun to watch them grow up. We've arrived at the sheep. Now, the sheep are my favorite. We raise a hair sheep. The advantage to that is that we don't have to shear them. The breed is Katahdin. We really like them for a couple of reasons. One, not having to shear them. Two, they're fairly parasite resistant. Three, they're really heat resistant, which is great in our environment here in Southeast North Carolina. Also, the meat quality is fantastic. They're considered one of the best tasting lambs out there. I started with only 4 sheep about 5 years ago, and now we're up to about a herd of 60. That includes 2 rams, 30 ewes, and their lambs from this year. We keep the rams in a dry lot this time of year. Sometimes we'll do that with our ewes in the winter as well, but most of the year, about 10 months of the year, we are able to rotationally graze. We maintain about 6 acres of pasture ourselves. We also borrow about the same amount from a neighbor. So we're able to maintain this size of flock. We've worked really hard to up the fertility of these pastures, and as you can see, it's finally paying off. Our rams will rejoin the flock this fall, and then we aim to have most of our lambs born in February and March. That way, by the time they're eating solid food, they can go right back out onto these lush pastures. This is Delilah. She's one of my oldest sheep. She's also our herd leader. She's always the first one through the fence. She's always the first one that comes up to see what food you have on you. She's not really afraid of people. She'll try to sneak past you if she can. She's definitely smarter than your average sheep, and that's why she's my favorite.
We have a flock of free-range Muscovy ducks here on the farm for both insect control like mosquitoes and flies, along with egg production. Muscovy ducks are really good at raising their own young. They find places in the forest to lay their nests that are protected and out of the way so predators don't harm them. And they will sit on their nest and hatch out their own eggs. Currently we have 10 ducklings, 3 that are behind me right here. We also have 7 other adolescent Muscovy ducklings. Those 10 ducklings have doubled the size of our flock this year. We have 2 African guard geese that we use for predator protection. They're really good at making a lot of noise when something different happens, and along with our 3 Catahoulas. They control the predators on our property for us.
We also have these 3 guys on the farm. They are Louisiana Catahoula Leopard Dogs, or just known as Catahoulas. They're fantastic farm dogs. They're really heat resistant. They have enough energy to keep up with us all day. They're really great at protecting the property from any predators. They're also super helpful if an animal ever gets out of a fence.
Even though they are great companions, they are working dogs. They need a lot of exercise, or they get a little rambunctious. So they need a lot of attention, they need a lot of play,
A lot of training.
And they need a job. These dogs are hunting and herding breeds. Our red Catahoula, she's our herder most of the time. Our black Catahoula here, she's very much a retriever type puppy. And our big guy here is a hog dog.
They're our best buds around the farm. They keep us company, and we just love them to death. You may have noticed there's a few things we don't have on this farm. Most conspicuously, we don't have a garden. We did for many years. It just became so labor intensive that we decided it wasn't worth it. We really wanted to devote that time to the animals and giving them all of our attention. Plus, we know several organic farmers around here that grow beautiful produce. So we've just developed a barter system within our own farming community. It's a much better way for us to get our veggies. I do sort of miss having a garden, and every once in a while we're lucky enough to get these gorgeous volunteers. You can see this squash plant has trellised itself over this dying tree. We've actually gotten quite a few squash off of there, mostly for the pigs. And speaking of the pigs, it is all due to them that we have this right now. Last year we had a group of 20 feeder pigs that we rotated around this area. We fed them some rotted squash and tomatoes, and then come this spring we had probably 50 squash plants and at least 20 tomato plants in just a small area. So even though those seeds ran through the gut of a pig, they still were able to seed and produce these big gorgeous plants. Even though we did nothing, we sort of have a garden this year.
We raised rabbits for many years for meat. We really enjoyed having them on the farm. We really enjoy the flavor of the meat, but they were no longer profitable, so we quit raising rabbits. Also, because we do not have a garden anymore and maintain a garden, we didn't need that organic matter that the rabbits produced with their poop as much as we used to. We now, with the little bit we still have left, we're giving it to some of our organic produce farmers.
Again, that barter system within our local community works really well. And although we don't have them right now, we do raise broiler chickens for meat, mainly in the spring, and we occasionally raise Peking ducks for meat, usually in the fall. We just don't have any of those right now. So that's our farm. We have a lot going on. Thanks for sticking with us. I know it's a lot to see. We'll try to keep you updated on everybody, and we'll have individual videos focusing on a lot more details in each individual species.
Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.
Bye now.
Bye.